When Zeta Gundam started airing in 1985, fans finally got to see what happened in the Universal Century after the events of the original Mobile Suit Gundam. Following their victory in the One-Year War, the Earth Federation takes just a little turn into fascism. Oh, I hate it when that happens. The Titans are formed, a somewhat shockingly well-armed military space police who have the stated goal of preventing another Zeon. In practice, they are pretty much neo-Nazis, or hell, they're basically ICE, extremists who believe in the power of the Earth government and Earthlings above all else. Opposing them is the Anti-Earth Union Group, or AUG, who come into contact with bright young mind Camille Bidon on a mission to capture the new Gundam Mark II units the Titans have developed. So begins Zeta Gundam, possibly my favorite series in the Gundam pantheon. You're seeing it how I saw it back then, in 2010 or so, on a CRT monitor through DVDs played on my PlayStation 2 late at night in my bedroom. And here are those DVDs. Yeah, we're doing a special Zeta Gundam themed episode of Jane's Books and Stuff. I know pretty much everything I do has a Gundam theme to it, but this is all about Zeta Gundam. I've got these DVDs, and I'm also going to show you a Zeta Gundam video game, some magazines, and I have a secret special bonus comic at the very end. So stay tuned for that. I think we'll have some fun. This is my way of saying thanks for all the support. I guess you could call it a 50 subscriber special. So thank you, everybody. Now, yeah, these DVDs I watched most of the series. To my recollection, I saw a few episodes online, and then I immediately moved to wanting to have these. Now, at the time I got these, I think they were out of print, but they were not ludicrously expensive. So we'll put away collection 2 for a second here. But each one, I believe, has 25 episodes on it. This is the old Bandai DVD. This is not the newer... I guess it was under Right Stuff. I can't quite remember. But we'll take a look here. Something that amused me up at the top, if you've kept up with the channel a little bit. Zeta Gundam is one of those shows everyone should watch. And good old Animag makes an appearance there. So everything kind of is connected, I guess. Also, it looks like Animag is not in the same font as the rest of the quote. Weird. But we've got a nice selection of episode screenshots, including the Psycho Gundam. And yep, this does have the dub by Blue Water and the Japanese soundtrack. I've never watched this dubbed. I never have. That studio, it was great for G Gundam. I don't know so much for this. It didn't seem quite right. Every time I spot check it, it just doesn't seem super right for Universal Century. Also, some of the actors from the dub of Mobile Suit Gundam, the first one, are not in this. So it's really just kind of a whole shame all around how English dubbed Zeta Gundam turned out. But let's take a look here. Now, to my knowledge, this was originally one of those series that was released very slowly in volumes, which turned out to not be the way, as the anime market and the DVD market kind of moved on from that, and then everything kind of became like this. But we still see here, these are the same discs. So you see like Chapter 1, Volume 1, Chapter 1, Volume 2, which honestly kind of confuses me a little bit as it goes on. But it doesn't matter. We've got this collected. So you see like Chapter 2, but total it's Volume 3. It's not like Volume 1 of Chapter 2, if that makes any sense. So is that, and then we've got M-Machine and the Gundam Mark II. All the artwork on these is of a newer variety. I don't know when exactly, but this is some kind of more recent promotional art. So I showed you those discs. One thing I want to show you, this is just completely unnecessary swag. The spines are silver and gold for the two collections. I think other Bandai box sets, this Anime Legends series, I think they also have that. But they are really, really cool. I mean, it just looks classy on a shelf. So we've got Camille Fa and the Zeta Gundam here. But similar kind of deal on the inside. We've got Jared and... oh god, what was her name? I can't remember. Jared went through so many, girlfriends. There's Yazan. And yeah, these are all really nice. And you can see, again, with the numbering 4, 8, 5, 9. I mean, it's just very strange. Also very strange, at least in my opinion. Very last disc is Shiroko. And I believe that's Rekoa loaned. So And the Masala is down there also, one of my favorite mobile suits from the series. Seems kind of an odd choice, but hey, it is what it is. You've got all the characters, so it goes how it goes. One thing I want to say about these DVDs that is interesting, we'll just bring them both back. The video transfer, the actual image, is really different on these DVDs. I guess they're from an old Laserdisc. I'll try to throw up some pictures so you can see. But the Blu-rays are much brighter and much more saturated than these DVDs are. Now, from what I understand and what I personally have observed, I believe those Blu-rays are closer to how the show actually looked and was photographed and seen on TV at the time. These DVDs are noticeably dark. I also think they're like razor sharp, and the Blu-ray looks kind of soft, but this DVD has a very kind of darker, it's almost like you turn the gamma down on your monitor kind of thing. Like I said, I'll try to have some examples up here. But I watched the show this way, and so I really sort of associate it with this kind of dark color palette. I think it kind of fits some of the realism of the show. And so when I watch this series, I do go out of my way to rewatch them this way. And this is one of the only times ever, you know, I watch something old instead of a more modern transfer. The modern Gundam transfers are a godsend for things like G Gundam, Gundam X, that had horrible video quality before. Now we're all good. But just personal nostalgia, I still watch these. So that's what you saw at the beginning. Now my camera didn't quite capture the excellent, well, not excellent quality maybe, but the peculiarities of that DVD. So just one thing to look out for. We'll bring in my high grade Zeta Gundam right here, who is laying on his back because I filmed these overhead. So we got those DVDs out of the way. So I mentioned the show began in 1985, but in 1986, you could bring some of Zeta Gundam home on your Famicom. So this is one of the early Gundam video games. It's Zeta Gundam Hot Scramble. Let's go to some footage. Developed by Game Studio before they ported the first two Wizardry games to Famicom, and of course, published by Bandai, it's Zeta Gundam Hot Scramble. The game opens up with a roll call of pretty much all the mobile suits featured in the game, which make up pretty much every enemy suit I can recall off the top of my head. Rather elite suits like the Boundock and the Palace Athene made it in, as well as your expected baddies like the Hyzak and the Marasai. At the end of this, Haman Khan's Cubile makes an appearance, and it's sort of presented like a special guest, which, honestly, true. I find this pretty charming, because in the actual game, the suits fly by so fast, you might have a hard time recognizing them. Also fun about this is the game's music. It's all made up of songs from the TV series. This is a great idea, and pretty much always is. But you have to hear Mizu no Hoshi I wo Komete, the second opening theme, pretty much on an endless loop through most of the game, and it does get kind of old. You do get to hear Hoshizora no Belief, the show's ending theme, on a game over and at the credits, which I find absolutely wonderful. Hot Scramble is a first-person shooter in the loosest sense. I'd say the change in perspective does matter for gameplay, but I'd also wager there's a 0% chance this wasn't inspired by Sega's smash hit Space Harrier the year before in 1985. You play as the Zeta Gundam. There's no actual graphic representation of Camille or anybody besides Fa, and you take on waves of Titan and Neo Zeon suits. These are decently fun little things, though for some sections I have no idea how you're meant to hit some of these so quickly. You can also speed up with the A button, which I think can help you dodge enemy shots, but I had a hard time confirming that with my own gameplay. What you're seeing here is my best run thus far. There's more though. Once you get to space, you'll hop aboard ships and I guess Titan bases inside the colonies to blow them up from the inside. These seem like they're considered fairly weak portions of the game, so much so that Bandai would later release a very limited release version without the side-scrolling segments. I don't know if it's that bad. It's the only time you see the Zeta Gundam itself, and it's somewhat cute and demure. You can and you'll need to transform to navigate these stages, as your unusual Mario-like jump doesn't seem terribly useful. You'll also see some Federation gym suits in the early levels, which is a neat little attention to detail. Now, I died on stage 6. You can continue from the title screen, which is nice, so if you want to make it through every stage of this game, you can. You can pretty much brute force it. Now, I know Metal Slater Glory was many years and technological innovations away, but I would have liked to see something with a little more story and feature the characters from the show. As it stands, though, it is a fun little action mecha game. You do get to pilot the Zeta Gundam in first person, which I'm sure was the dream of everybody in the 80s, to see if you could simulate piloting a mobile suit. So I guess in that sense, it's pretty great. So in 1985 and early 1986, you were watching the TV show and playing this game and probably building your Gunpla. But all of that was in Japan. What about America? Well, here comes Animag in 1987 to fill us in on what this incredible show is about. All right, here we are with some magazines. It is still Jane's Books and Stuff, after all. So, yeah, Zeta Gundam made the cover of Animag a couple of times. I have at least one other cover appearance here. These are from the Mike Moon collection that have been so generously given to me. There is a video with those on the YouTube channel. But this first issue, this is from 1987, and this is from 1990, the second one, with just awesome cover art. Very skinny looking VO. It does not have a waist that thin. I mean, it kind of does in this tall head. Well, whatever. We'll put that aside for a little bit. So look at Animag number 1 here. That's the Gundam Mark II in the back. There's 4, and there's Quattro Vagina, the enigmatic, well, you know. Honestly, if you're watching this, you know all about him, so... All right, so again, running gag, I never checked the indicia for publication date, but this is 1987, and some of the subject matter in here is kind of what you'd expect. We're not going to go over all of this, but I do want to mention they shout out the Mobile Suit Gundam trilogy. It's a little more than a shout out, and we've got sort of the first third of the series recapped for Zeta Gundam, and we get some delicious line art too, so let's go ahead and get into that. Area 88 has that SNES game, right? It was called UN Squadron. I can't get too far into it or I'll get distracted. So let's see. You can see very, very text heavy this early issue. And you're going to see in 1990, the design of this has changed quite a bit. So real quick, here's their summary of the original Mobile Suit Gundam. Nothing too crazy here. I know this is a portrait of Amuro, but it goes on. Char Aznable, spelled C-H-A-R. Unlike later on when the Gundam novels would be translated in, I believe, the late 90s, they went with S-H-A-A, Sha, which is more kind of like how it sounds. But here we've got C-H-A-R. Yeah, Jane can read, I swear. And yeah, this is a pretty decent recap. Now, again, very, very, I would call it Web 1.0. But they go through each, this is about the compilation movies specifically. So they go through Mobile Suit Gundam 2. And if you remember in my last video, this just jumped out at me now, actually, because I only skimmed this earlier. We see that Makube instead of the later Nakube translation. Maybe I'll throw a picture of who that character is. Even I don't know how to say his name all the time. And just one other neat localization bit, Kishiria Zabi. So just fun stuff there. All right, here we go. Hey, look, there I am. So the Zeta Gundam summary here is very well done. I think you can follow this, not having seen the show, and have a pretty decent idea of who all the characters are. When we looked back earlier at some of my older magazines, we see that these kind of episode summaries are actually really common in these older magazines. And this one being from 87 makes it one of the oldest ones that I have, or maybe the oldest. I'd have to check if the Animage I have from 87 is any older. But we go through, like, there's Beltor Chica and Amuro. There's Katz. Written here is Katsu. Hayato. Jared Mesa. And Reading this, I always forget. Just somehow, I always forget. Rosamia appears before Formarasame. I always slips my mind. I always think of it's for and then Rosamia. And if you've seen the show, you kind of know why I might think that. And that's sort of how it plays out later with the Psycho Gundams. But again, massive, very good summaries of episodes. It goes into like what the AU are for, what happened to the Earth Federation, what's going on with Camille, and Machine is there. And yeah, I think you could follow. This looks really great, by the way. And there's the damn Ashimar, one of my favorite suits from the series. And this looks really great here in black and white. I wonder where they got this from in 1987. I wonder if they like scanned this from another magazine. I don't know how you would get this kind of promo art. Guess they had the hookup or something. And we've got our Rick Diaz up here. And this is all technical information about the in-universe history of mobile suits, which I've always found interesting. We won't review all of it here, but, my favorite thing in the world, line art in magazines. Ooh, it looks so good. There's the Man of the Hour. If I can pick this up. Really awesome stuff to see. So yeah, in 1987, you could have known about Zeta Gundam. It's not impossible. Oh, here's a killer film. Hopefully you'll find out about this. Someday we'll talk about that, maybe, if I ever get a Blu-ray or something. But, and again, back here, we've got Judo Ashta from Double Zeta Gundam. Extremely pissed-looking Camille and a very judgmental-looking Amuro Ray. As we complete our first issue, our staff has come to understand the commitment and the hard work necessary to produce a quality product. We hope you have a lot of fun reading Animag as we had putting it together. However, for you, it should be a lot less effort. And then check this out in the back. Dirty pair. All right. In the next issue, and more Zeta Gundam. Sweet. So you might be wondering, as I was, so here we go, issue 10. I can't quite tell just from skimming these how often they were published. But check this out. Much different design, much better, I would say. Much better, very eye-catching, these big bubble numbers. And you can't go wrong with Dirty Pair. Available in May 1990. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's like every 3 months if it was 87 to 90. And now this is number 10, something like that, right? So they are still recapping Zeta Gundam. They're at the very end of the series, the last 4 episodes. And, another thing I can't stop bringing up is Pat Labor. So Pat Labor gets mentioned here by Mark Simmons, which is awesome. And, who drew this? I'm sorry, I keep looking at this. Who drew this, I wonder? It's not too bad. Little goofy in the face, but... again, can't go over all of this right now, but this is really the layout of the magazine is much better, and it's much more fully featured. There's things besides episode summaries and recaps, and there's pages like this. Boom. Very, very cool. Mike would be proud to see this space battleship Yamato. I haven't seen this show in a long, long time. And to be honest, I don't even remember what I thought of it. I liked it. But, see, I can't help but get distracted. I want to get right to the Gundam stuff, but, I just can't help it. By the way, all the Animag issues are archived online. I'll throw up a link and put it in the description to where you can read them if you want to. Heaven forbid I be the only resource where you see these. So this is Galforce, I believe, something I've never seen. But it's one of those things I'm aware of. She looks like that one girl from Code Geass. I don't remember her name at all. And we have some cool garage kits here. Now, the thought of building a 1990 garage resin kit terrifies me. I mean, it terrifies me now, but the thought of what these might have been like sort of excite me. There's a 220, the Queen Manta. Can't remember quite what it's actually called, but a lot of interesting stuff in here. I wonder what they cost. So boom, look at this, right? Very, very different from what you saw last time. Massive artwork here of the Palace Athene, another one of those mobile suits that's sort of beloved because it is a little strange looking, I guess. Or maybe unconventional. I don't know what you'd call it. The whole aesthetic of mobile suits after Zeta, Double Zeta, and sort of Char's counterattack completely changes. So, I don't know, they're very 80s looking to me. There's one other killer page in here I have simply got to show you. This thing, I completely forgot this mobile suit was in the series. But it was piloted by Sarah, who is a pretty notable character. And yeah, this goes through Shiroko, who really starts popping off along with Haman at this part in the series. And just really, I love how this is laid out. I mean, this looks so good, but the text is still dense. They didn't really lose too much in the way of actual information. And, you know, the episode summary is only interrupted to tell you how awesome the Cubile is, which, you know, hey, that works for me. I thought this was cool here. I wanted to show this. This is for San Francisco Science Fiction, some sort of store in California. I wonder if that's still there. Wonder what this says. If anyone knows, tell me. But we've got some sort of new Gundam model. Now, I don't recognize this. This shoulder is dark. This one is light, and it's got this, to me, it sort of looks like the Greek letter alpha. Here, I'll bring this up so you can see. I do not recognize this sort of variant at all. If it is a variant, I really have no idea. Maybe they're just custom decals or decals that came with the kit. I know there's like certain things that come with Gundam kits sometimes where you never actually see them. Holy crap. All right, this is what I wanted to show you guys. What an absolute monster page. The Psycho Gundam Mark II. It's got that iconic, very scary head. Love the Psycho Gundam Mark II. Here spelled with an H in Psycho. Really, really enjoy that. And here's the profile for Rosami, who sometimes gets a little bit of criticism for being the 4 Murasame story, part 2. But, you know, this isn't a review of the show necessarily. Again, really awesome layout here. Look at that. How cool is that? I tried to do kind of some stuff like that when I did my magazine on my website, Emotion Engine Volume 1. But how sweet. I mean, that is friggin' cool. That is just so great. Oh, there's Cats. Poor guy. The Hyakushiki is definitely a very, very cool mobile suit. I wish I had one, but I kind of want a yellow one and not a gold one. And you have to kind of pick your models. And then another great mobile suit, the O. The sort of final bosses, they would come to be known for, you know, certain Gundam series. You know, the final showdown was me and you. So, absolutely love the... Oh, this one is thick as frick. I mean, you know, we go back... You see what I mean? This one's like weirdly skinny. And it's not their artwork, I guess. This is just some other magazine probably or promotional thing. This one is... Dang, I mean, this is what it actually looks like to me a little more. It's got these cool... I swear the arms are a little stubbier than that. Well, maybe not. There's the real line art, right? So, I don't know. I just love the, it's one of those cool bad guy suits that sort of looks evil. I wonder if anyone's ever made a custom one and tried to make it look heroic. I thought this was interesting. So, the spelling of Camille has changed back to C. And now... Spoilers, I guess, but this is the summary for the last episode. Very famous, very dark ending of Zeta Gundam. But sort of described a little strangely here. With his dying breath, Paptimus Shiroko gasps, Camille Vidan, I may die, but I'm taking you with me. The new type glow around Shiroko's body flares to life and reaches towards Camille. Camille sees the mysterious light flowing towards him and briefly loses consciousness. The O explodes in a blaze of fury. The Wave Rider, thrown clear. That's the Zeta Gundam transformed. She realizes his mind suffered severe damage during his duel with Shiroko and takes him back to the Argama. The ship heads off for a Side 1 space colony. The victors depart the battlefield. The limbless, lifeless remains of the Hyakushiki drift by. Very, very iconic shot, if you ask me. Echoes a lot of stuff you saw in the first Gundam. But I don't know, it seems like this didn't quite capture how shocking it actually is when you see it. And, you know, you've probably seen that famous picture of Camille, like, looking happy. I don't know how you describe it. He was very enamored, I guess, with space all of a sudden. It's a little difficult to explain. But yay, there's Pat Labor here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And again, this one's a little more introductory based, but Pat Labor was really new at this time. It had just come out the year before, I think. You think I would know with how often I bring up Pat Labor that I have my dates memorized. There's good old Kanaka Clancy. This kind of looks like a newspaper thing, actually, with all the black and white photos and profiles. And we got Star Blazers. And what is on the back of this one? Oh, more Star Blazers. Each volume contains 2 complete Star Blazers episodes in sequence, boxed in full-color covers with art from the series and synopses. I bet you Mike has one of these tapes somewhere. Mr. Mike Moon, if you're watching this, let me know. Do you have some of these tapes? So yeah, Zeta Gundam, sort of interesting to still be recapping it years later. I mean, now at this point, Double Zeta Gundam was over. Shard's Counterattack had probably finished its theatrical run, I'd assume. That was 89 or 90, I believe. So it's kind of interesting. They really did commit to letting all their readers know about the whole series. So I say congratulations, and pretty awesome evolution in the design of the magazine itself. So really, I have nothing but praise here for Animag. All right, you are all very patient, so time to show you our secret bonus comic. Now, this is kind of cheating. It's kind of silly, but I just thought I'd show some more sort of Gundam adjacent thing. This is Ninja High School number 2. Now, Ninja High School by Ben Dunn. Sort of famous indie comic. I really don't know how to describe how popular it is or was. I have no idea. I talked to Mike Moon once, and he thought it was pretty well known in the sort of indie comic circle of the time. And again, you'd sort of pick up anything that sort of looked like anime or looked like Gundam. That was sort of the prerogative of the time, I think. Now, again, I'm sort of bending the rules here. This is clearly the Double Zeta Gundam. You know, you can't mistake these things and these huge shoulders and those beam sabers. But I figured, you know what, close enough, and there's some fun stuff to look at in here. And someday we'll talk more about Ninja High School. I've got plenty of issues, and it's definitely something worth discussing. It's the kind of thing that this channel was made for. So I won't go over everything in this issue, but I have to say, these kind of early things for Ben Dunn, I really, really enjoy his style. It's not quite Rumiko Takahashi, and it's not quite Marvel Comics or DC Comics either. It really is kind of somewhere in between. I mean, look at faces like this, and look at kind of bodies like this. I mean, it's a really, really... You know, today you would see this stuff on, like, DeviantArt, and I mean that as a compliment. I know that site and some others kind of get thrown around as a pejorative, but really, I mean, this is... If you're an artist or something, I mean, this is your webcomic, right? This just happened to be in paper at the time because it was the late 80s. What year exactly was this? Oh, of course it wouldn't tell me. Oh, here we go. Ninja High School, Antarctic Press, 150, 87. So, yeah, we're going back up to 1987 again. So we'll go up ahead here. This has a totally zany, sort of Urusei Yatsura-like story. You know, there's all kinds of just random characters with powers, and there's ninjas and space people and all this kind of stuff. I showed this off on Blue Sky, but I'll show it off again now that you can see the whole comic. You needn't worry, Lendo. Totally not like Mendo. Your rival ninja clan will be rid of this ant, or I am not Hokuto no Ken Terminator. I mean, wow. So if you knew all that stuff in 87, Hokuto no Ken, and he's got the scars on his chest like Kenshiro. So that must have been quite the treat for anyone who knew. I don't have a full biography of Mr. Ben Dunn ready at this time. But all the same. I believe he grew up in Hong Kong or at some point lived there, and that's how he got exposed to lots of anime and manga things. All right, let's see if we can find all that. Here we go. So putting on the double Zeta Gundam pieces as if it were armor, which is pretty interesting. I don't know if this predates like the Gundam Girl, Gundam Musume stuff they would do later. I assume it doesn't. That's Mimi playing in the background if you hear a rolling sound. My kitty. And yeah, you know, I guess this is just supposed to be like, hey, it's a robot armor. Cool, right? But it's pretty unmistakable if you've got an eye for mobile suits. But I mean that in a nice way. It's a fun little tribute and shout out. And if you read Ninja High School, there's fun little shout outs all over the place. Oh, yep, here we go. Like up here. I'll bring that in for you. I can't remember what this is called exactly. It's got pieces of like, oh, you know, I'm not even going to say and embarrass myself. But yeah, it works, right? If you don't know all the reference material, it works just fine. And if you do know, it's a cute little shout out. So I wouldn't call it plagiarism or anything. Is this the issue that has other mobile suits in it? It might be the next one. But really gorgeous kind of comic in its own way. I mean, I like this kind of thing. It's very charming to me. Okay, this one doesn't have the other mobile suits in it. That's a shame. But I'll let you look at this because it's cute. I guess it's the next issue also. Ben Dunn actually did a little drawing of Lum, and it's actually really cute. And somebody mentions the sort of resemblance to it. So Ninja High School, can't go into everything about it today, but I thought I'd include that as a fun little bonus for our Zeta Gundam episode. All right, I think we're going to call it there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for 50 subscribers. Thank you for all the support on Blue Sky. Thank you for all the support on Twitch. And thank you for all the support at playingps2.xyz, my personal website. I really, really cannot thank you all enough. And I really, really enjoyed making these videos, showing you cool comics, magazines, and just all kind of history. So I'll see you all next time. I haven't decided what the next episode will be, but keep reading, keep having fun, and I'll see you next time.